Oh, hello.
Welcome, Aiman, to this discussion with us with Backgrounds, and thank you for joining us as a ex-student as Backgrounds and sharing about your career path. So let's get started knowing about you first. If you can choose one sound effect that represents your identity, your music styles, or your preference, what would you choose?
To represent me, I would say chorus because when I enter a room, I kind of fill it up with my energy or my vibe, I would say.
Get back a bit about yourself. Can you describe your life routine these days?
I think it's pretty standard. So wake up around 9 o'clock, hit the gym till around 10:30, and then, or the days I don't gym, it's straight to the studio because I feel that my most creativity comes as soon as I wake up because my mind is like really fresh. And then depending on the day, so if I'm going to the gym, then I would sit on my studio right after for like an hour to 2 hours. And then right after studio, I would go through all my sets that I DJ'd the night before and see what I did well, what I would change, make new sets or download music. Because one of the most important things about DJing is always updating and see what's out there. And a lot of times, a lot of DJs get very complacent when they have residency and just stay home, like just keep playing the same set over and over again. I always try and like new things, yeah. And at least spend 2 hours a day on just digging for music and organizing my sets, building new routines.
You mentioned about you starting in business.
Actually, I was already DJing at the time and in music, but I took it seriously like halfway through uni when I left university to pursue music. Yeah.
Can you tell more about that?
So back in the days, I think like my dad was a bit conservative and music wasn't really a big thing home with my dad, and he always wanted me to focus on business and finance and all of that. So in order for me to actually learn DJing, what I did was I kind of became like a club promoter, even though I was 16 and it's kind of illegal. But that way I was kind of already in the scene at 16 and I could start to talk to DJs to see whether or not they would teach me. So I would spend a lot of times befriending DJs so I could go over to their house to like use their equipment to kind of learn. And then saved enough money and bought my first mixer and then kind of went on from there.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so let's imagine a scenario when you just wake up someday and there's no music at all, like it's disappeared. What's the routine of yourself gonna change, and how was it for you?
To be honest, I think that's kind of impossible because to not have music is to not have sound because even like, let's say the aircon blowing, it's blowing at a certain beat per minute and then that can itself be changed into music. So if I'm deaf, then I don't know, the world's a scary place.
Do you think that learning or understanding much about music changed the way you actually listen to them?
Yes and no. A lot of the theories was there prior, but then when I decompose a song, I look at it differently rather than when I listen to it. So listening to it, I listen through a different ear, but then when I visually see it and like try and figure out, oh, why is this part really catchy? And then decompose it into a very fundamental level on all the theories that they used to make the melody catchy.
Okay. So what is the biggest difficulties you have encountered in your journey?
I think at the age of 19 or 20, you know, my dad has a very strict rule. Like, if you're gonna go do it, you do it on your own. Like, you don't get support from me. So he didn't pay for rent, anything. So I have to like go out there on my own, figure it out, make money from it at the same time. So I wasn't living under his roof. I have to earn for myself, make my own money at the age of 19, and then figure it out on my own, which is pretty like wild if you ask me.
Do you have any plan on your music path or music career path in this year?
We have, well, about 8 clubs that I'm responsible for. So, or I would say for 2025. So the last 3 years, the trend that I saw in clubs is very commercial. And with COVID, what happened was people started to listen to a lot of different genres. But what's starting to happen now for 2025 is people want everything more specialized. So now what I have to do in my work experience is how do we specialize each venue to fit a certain type of genre.
So let's get back to your journey, maybe or 5 or 10 years ago. What would be one advice that you will give to your younger self and maybe that you will help him with?
I think one of the things as you grow is you realize once you get something you don't want it and you're into the next thing. So don't keep thinking about, I want this, I want this, I want this. Like, just enjoy the journey getting there because, yeah. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I always wanted a DJ residency. Now that I have it, I'm like, oh, I want to stay home. Yeah, like there's always a payoff to one or the other.
Let's get back to his question about you being a music director. Yes, so how did you grow like this?
I would say the music director role, I think that's where my business like knowledge helped a lot because this position is not really a DJing position, and that's what a lot of people get wrong, and that's what happens in this scene. Like, a lot of people hire, oh, he's the best DJ, I think he can be a director, you know. And then they got no business knowledge and no like theory base. Like, I give you a perfect example. Let's just use economics, right? Law of diminishing returns, which means like if you have too much of something, like let's say you're really thirsty, your first glass of water feels great, but your second, third, fourth is not, it marginally reduces. It's the same with music, right? So when you're DJing, that first pump you push, that A is great. But then you have a lot of DJs that push that pump 3 or 4 times, and that A is like not AA anymore. It messes with the customer. And understanding all these theories kind of combined is like what this position really requires. So you're understanding from a business point of view and a full economics point of view, and then you take your music knowledge and put the two together.
Now let's wrap up a little bit. You can look at the camera, think about yourself like or 5 or 10 years later. What would be some message that you want to send for yourself?
Are you bored yet? I want to know, like in 10 years, like, are you bored of doing this or is it still fun? Because like 5 years ago, I always thought like I'll be bored of it in 5 years. And then like, you know, every time I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to get bored of it eventually. Like, oh, no, there's like more fun shit to do. Just keep it going and think of, like, of course, there's things I want in 10 years' time. But if I keep drooling over what I want in 10 years, like, it might not happen. Like, I think after COVID, especially in this industry where everything was closed for like 3 years, like, it's just best to like, okay, just be in the moment for now and like take every year at a time.
So let's end it up with one message that you would like to send for the beginners in this industry who just attend the industry and have the passion to start music.
I think the first 5 years is really tough, and that's what filters out the people that really want it versus the people that think, oh, this is going to be cool. And after those 5 years, essentially, is where you start making good money. Like the first 5 years, you're not earning a lot. You're still a student. You're really paying your dues to get that respect. And a lot of people give up after the first 2 years or 3 years, where it's like, shit, this is hard. And like, I'm not earning a lot and like nothing stable and da 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 da. And then the people that keep continuing, I would say after 5 years is like, oh, okay, now I have something stable and now I can live off something and so on.